So, famous Canadian terrain builder, Black Magic Craft, made I guess, pro Canadian, anti American video. It's only like 9 minutes long, and it is like super cringy. So, like, I watched it, and I'm a little torn in a way. It's like I have said this multiple times, and I believe it. People should never be ashamed of where they're from. You know, Regardless of if it's Micronesia or Lesotho or Canada or wherever. You should never be ashamed of your ancestors, and this is something I firmly believe. Uh, but in his video, it's pretty obvious that he is ashamed of his ancestors, but he's using the typical virtue signaling, we're all inclusive, blah, 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 whatever, you know, and talking about how the brave natives that fought for their rights and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, dude, whatever. And our brothers in Quebec and this and that. And it's like, all right. And then he talked about elbows out or up, which is apparently a Canadian thing coming from hockey. About, basically like the American saying F around and find out. Um, which is cool. I like learning new nomenclatures and stuff like that. And I'm also not necessarily going to attack this guy's skill. He makes decent enough terrain, but at multiple parts of the video, he talks about, Canada stands up if somebody threatens our sovereignty, blah, blah, blah. And honestly, it's like, okay, people complaining about Trump messing with Justin Trudeau, who cried on live TV, by the way. That's your leader. A male feminist sissy who cries, when an actual man messes with him. And I can't even feel a way because you guys keep electing the guy. It's like, really? I mean, there has to be like a man in Canada worth voting for, right? But maybe there's not. But anyway, to get on to what I'm saying here, it's basically the fact that Canadians would get mad that Trump, said he was gonna, uh, go ahead and just annex Canada and call it Game North Dakota or something. Uh, if you're Canadian and you're upset about that, that is your insecurity show. Because obviously the United States is not going to annex you. If we were going to do that, we would have done that 100 years ago. And before some of you start talking about, no, you wouldn't. The chances of Canada defeating the United States are nil. And that's before we take into account the fact that about half of your country would prefer to be part of our country anyway, and also that you're not super very real, like even united, because it seems like every other year the Quebecois are threatening independence. And, so your government gives them all kinds of extra, like, leeway and shit, and is constantly bending over backwards to placate them. Because if they don't, then the Quebecois might just be like, you know what, F Canada, we're going to become, part of France or something, I mean, whatever. But so I'm, I couldn't even be mad, even though when he's talking about how great Canada is at hockey, I did have to laugh since, I mean, when's the last time you guys won a Stanley Cup, bro? You know? Uh, but I guess the main thing is, and again, I'm not, go look at his video if you want. It's 9 minutes long. The main thing is, it's just like, I'm glad he's proud of being a Canadian, but there's some things he has done that I'm not glad of. One of them is on Instagram, and I get this from, one of my internet bros. Someone mentioned that a piece of Trench Crusade terrain he made was kind of blasphemous to Christianity. And instead of being a cool dude and being like, no, I'm sorry, or whatever about, he's like, no one gives a shit about your invisible sky daddy and your cult. That is one, not cool, and two, you're going to have a 9-minute video about how awesome Canadians are, but you're going to treat a guy who had some concerns about something that way. Yeah, you're really winning people over, bro. And the guy who said that may not have been American. You don't know that. It could have been from some other place. There's other countries on the planet besides the US. And the second thing I want to touch on, but the anti-Christian thing, I mean, I don't know. He never seemed to come off that way, but if that's how he's acting on like Instagram and shit, then, automatically that just makes him, my enemy. Because if you are an anti-Christian, anti-Christ, you are my enemy for now and forever until the end of time. And in my opinion, you should be the enemy of every believer in Christ. Because if you love Christ with all your heart, mind, and body and soul the way you're supposed to, then you don't tolerate people talking shit. Now, I grew up in a culture where if someone said something bad about your mom, you beat the shit out of them. Just on sight, no questions asked. And I feel a lot more strongly about my Christian faith than that. So I would say, if you're going to talk smack, but it doesn't make you a better person. It makes you come off as an asshole, especially since your country's basically been overrun by Mideasterners and North Africans. And we both know you would never dream of insulting their religion. So, so your insulting of Christianity is not only evil, but cowardly. Because, like I said, you would never dream of confronting a Muslim about his religion. Kind of like Trench Crusade, as much as I like a lot of the stuff about it, they would never dream of creating a meta Muhammad, a clone of Muhammad, and then have that clone of Muhammad represented by miniatures, because where a lot of them live, one, it'd be against the law, but then again, insulting Christianity is against the law in a lot of Europe too. So they're pushing line, really. And the other thing is that because they would be worried that some Muslim, because it's not like you have a lot of Muslims that would play war games, but some Muslim would hear somewhere that there's a war game out there where they actually have physical depictions of Muhammad or something. And then you might end up with, what happened at that comic place in France. And let's be honest, the people who talk the most shit about Christianity, they know they're cowards because they would never dream of taking the risk that somebody might actually, because they believe Christians will never get violent with them. And that's that's Protestants' fault. That's the whole turn the other cheek thing, which most Protestants misinterpret really poorly. You know, like my priest said, if somebody insults you personally, you turn the other cheek. If someone attempts to destroy the church, you destroy them. Because unlike what Protestants will try to tell you, Christianity is not a passive religion. And this idea that you're supposed to stand by and let people attack your faith, that's, I guess I'd say evil. So this is the thing. First off, I would say to the guy who said that the shrine with the artillery round in it was blasphemous, I'd say no, not really. I mean, it's a shrine with an artillery round in it, and hopefully that artillery round or one like it is going to land on a bunch of demonic heads and their various demonic, followers, the degenerates and etc., and erase them right off of the earth, all in the name of Christ. So it's not like you're worshiping the artillery round. So don't worry about it. It's not that big of a deal. Don't get upset. I mean, I have trench shrines, except all of mine have Eastern Orthodox crosses in them because my war bands are very Eastern Orthodox. Like, we don't believe in the Metachrist and we don't follow the Pope and all of his new shit. We stay with the original scripture. And what's weird is the people who make the game, who claim to be anti-Christian and like have said some pretty horrible shit, why did they create a ultra zealous, ultra traditional war band that you can play? That's actually really good too. You know what I mean? It makes no sense. They created two actually, because you got the ones that wear the that refuse to believe anything the Metachrist said, and then you've got the Order of Saint Methodius or whatever, which is also a hardcore ultra orthodox sect. So in this game, they have given you two extremely zealous, hardcore Eastern Orthodox factions to play. And there's nothing saying you couldn't build a New Antioch army using New Antioch rules, but say it's from the Empire of Russia. So there you go. I mean, could certain things be considered anti or blasphemous? I guess. But dear dude on Instagram that said what you said, that made Black Magic Craft behave like a complete asshole. Dude, calm down. Calm down. Things aren't as blasphemous as you think all the time. Now, what is blasphemous is, and also not very inclusive or whatever, is for Black Magic Craft to completely denigrate this man and every other man like him, their whole belief system, because it goes against Black Magic Craft's belief system. Now, I don't know if this is true or not. I'll need to be corrected if it is or is not. But I have been told that Black Magic Craft is a bit of a um, penis enjoyer, right? That's kind of a thing he likes. He fancies the lads. So if that is true, and again, I don't know 100%. I haven't seen it. I haven't asked him. He hasn't told me. In every video I've ever watched of him, I can't remember it ever coming up. The few videos I've watched of him, because let's be honest, I'm a way better crafter than he is. So I generally, why would I watch somebody I consider a novice? Um, but, but, you know, maybe just to make fun of his edgelord tattoos. I have tattoos too, Black Magic. Yeah, that's Saint Michael curb stomping Satan's ass. Yeah, because army stuff and firefighter stuff. But all of your weird whatever, yeah, you just look like an edgy biker wannabe, and you're not. That's easy to tell. So, in the end, I guess what I would say is I'm glad he's proud of being a Canadian. I'm sad that he's so stupid that he thinks Trump trolling Justin Trudeau could ever actually be like something that would happen. Like America would ever actually, in a billion years, ever consider annexing Canada. I mean, if we were going to, it already happened, guys, years ago. That's all I can say. If we were going to, it would have already happened. And not to be a dick, guys, but there's nothing you could have done about it. If the United States had woke up one day and said, you know what? Manifest destiny, we're going to the North Pole. Okay, that'd been the end of it, because, and this is not, again, I'm not trying to like make fun of you, but you don't have the military or the population to stop us if we wanted to. But you do get paid by us in like aid, packages, and the fact that no one will ever invade Canada because the United States is right next door, and we would take that shit personally. So yeah, you guys brag about your healthcare system and how you've got a free healthcare system. Well, you're welcome, because the fact that you don't have to actually worry about defending yourselves frees up enough of your GDP that you can do these things. You can have these luxurious, social net benefit programs, because unlike the United States, you don't pay for your defense. We do, right? But again, be proud of your people. Not that I don't think he is. He, again, comes off kind of like a self-loathing libtard. But hey, whatever. To all my other Canadian brethren out there, bros, be proud of being Canadian, and don't let anyone make you feel like you shouldn't be proud of being Canadian. And no, when I say this, I mean it with all my heart. You're never winning a Stanley Cup again, because your best players would much rather move to the US and get paid sacks and sacks of money. And I don't mean like the stone coins or the loonies and toonies you people trade for, beaver pelts and shit. I mean like real money that you can spend places, right? I'm joking. So before any of my actual Canadian friends, bros, get like, yeah, I'm joking, obviously. And that's the point. When Trump did what Trump did to the Trudeau, it was some masterclass trolling. And if you've been on the internet as long as Black Magic Craft has, and you didn't recognize that master crafted troll, and I mean, what do you do when somebody trolls you really good? Have you ever been trolled so hard by somebody like on X when it used to be Twitter that you couldn't even be mad about it because you're just like, damn, that guy trolled me hard and I freaking went all in on it, right? Well, that would be my suggestion to all of my Canadian friends who are apparently currently sitting up there worried that America at any minute is going to send, you know, the Marine Corps, the 10th Mountain Division, or one of our, Army units that specialize in mountainous and frozen conditions up there. Stop. Okay? Just stop, guys. It's not going to happen. I mean, it's not going to happen. Trump trolled Trudeau. Trudeau cried on TV. I'm sure we'll get over this because, I mean, America, like me, would never want to lose their favorite hat. So just chill out, guys. But Black Magic Craft, insulting someone's religion just because you're LGBT, whatever, and you know that your lifestyle is considered very sinful in Christianity, that's BS, bro. That's BS. My words to you would be to stop gratifying the physical, stop with your sinful behavior, repent, sin no more, and become a better person. I mean, I don't know if you're actually, I just heard through the grapevine that you were. And that would be what I would say to you, because what you're doing is sinful and you should not do sinful things because they're not good for you. At the end of the day, sin is an illness, it's a sickness, and it can only ever lead to bad things for you. I mean, whether that's AIDS or monkeypox or, whatever. There are reasons you should not be playing around in anybody's, cavity that like that because I mean, I'd be worried about hepatitis B. But anyway, despite all of the just natural things that tell you that that's not a good lifestyle to engage in, um, you just shouldn't be a jerk about it. You really shouldn't. I mean, the guy wasn't even calling you out on your lifestyle or anything. He just thought that a thing was blasphemous. I don't even agree with him on the blasphemy of the thing, but your behavior, like I've said before, is just unconscionable. The rest of your video, I don't really care enough about to comment on. I mean, most of it is just stupid bullshit and somebody trying to flex, even though no one actually gives a shit. It's like Black Magic Craft is being a Karen because Trump trolled the shit out of him and he don't know what to do about himself. And it's like, bro, it's a troll. The Americans are not coming. You will be fine. Canada is safe. I mean, if you're going to get taken over at all, it'll probably be by North Africans or Indians. And honestly, that might be the best thing for you, because it's obvious that your nation has decided that they don't like their actual, colonial history. So they you guys are doing everything you can to walk away from it. and believing lies like Two Spirit and stuff like that. Those are all lies. But I'm going to leave the video there. I mean, I could have made a really angry video and, talked so much smack about whatever. But at the end of the day, the fact is, there are guys online here from Canada that I actually like a lot. So I just thought I'd go ahead and keep this as simple and direct as possible to the one person who did the thing, right? Instead of dragging all of Canada in on it. So before I end, let me reiterate, making fun of Christianity, that's not something that should be tolerated any more than making fun of anything else. And if you're super inclusive, blah, 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 you owe that man an apology, right? And a lot of guys, I'm telling you right now, in America, if you did that in their presence, they would probably knock your ink off. So, you might be able to do that on Instagram, but if you plan on coming to Chicago, I probably wouldn't carry on so much like that. You could find yourself in a lot of trouble. You know what I mean? And two, learn when you're being trolled and don't be a Karen about it. It just looks, it makes you look stupid. It just makes you look stupid, And don't brag about how great Canada is at hockey, because that's the distant past. That's never happening again. You'll never be able to match American teams' budgets. We're just going to hire every Canuckistanian that's good at hockey and dominate from here on out, because, that's what we do when we decide we like a sport. We just take over and whatever. I mean, you mentioned Gordie Howe or whatever, Mr. Hockey, Mr. Cocky, to quote Shoresy. I mean, everybody knows who's the great one. And that's Gretzky. And he played for the U.S. So, peace and love, my Canadian brethren. No, we're not coming to get you. Stop worrying. From your friend in the deep South, James.